Yeah, we started with heads and tails. Yeah.
That's your first level, second level, that's your third level. Not your outcome is step one.
Yeah. Right there.
So this is this one. H, T, then what? Oh, this is for T? Show me right here what you did then. I want you to break it up exactly like that. You did it here? I know, but I want you to show it where. Let me get those. And you should always have three letters.
So when you find your outcomes, you should always have 3 letters. All right, here we go. Some of you did it reverse. Some of you stayed in order with heads and tails. Both are not wrong if you have the same outcomes that I'm about to put on the board. But I want you guys to stay in order of what the examples are showing you. Okay? Organization. Don't confuse yourselves. So for my first one, level 2 now. My options are heads or tails again. Okay? That's level 2. That's level 1. Level 3. There should be 2 branches coming off from heads, and there should be 2 branches coming off from T. Again, heads or tails, heads or tails. And this is level 3. If you started with tails first, then heads, it should look like this. My first level is a T. My second level should be TH. My third level should be TH again. Here's the point of this too. Whether you did it the first way, or if you did it in a reverse way where you started with tails first, they're both acceptable. But your outcomes are what's important. You need to understand that your outcomes need to be correct. You need to understand how to read those outcomes. So if you started with tails and heads for your second level, and tails and heads for your third level, your outcomes are going to be different from if you started with heads and tails. Okay? First one. Start with tails, level 1. That's the first outcome. I bring it down. What's my second one? T. I want to hear choir in here. Everybody should. I want to hear everybody's voices. Everyone. Everywhere I point, you go. Tails, tails.
Tails. T. H. T. H.
What's my next one?
THC.
Let's not make jokes, guys. Let's go. Even if you didn't do it this way, you should still understand the concept of how to follow the lines in order to get the correct outcome and write them correctly. Okay? So what's my next one?
THH.
Beautiful. So now for this one. My first outcome.
THH.
Good. We're getting it. What's my next one?
TH2.
Good. What's my next one?
TTH.
And what's my next one?
TTT.
Tell me this now. What's the difference between this side?
The outcome.
In reverse.
The outcome.
It's reverse, right? So if you do it the reverse way, your TTT, which we got at the end over here, better be first in line here. Right?
Yes.
All the same answers, just reverse order.
Which one is that?
Okay, this is reversed order, right? Because you started with TH, TH, TH. This is the first order we started with. Heads, tails, heads, tails. So when you're ordering, like when you do a math problem, they tell you, list these numbers from least to greatest. So you need to pay attention to what your directions are asking you and how the problem is written. Are there any questions about that?
No, sir.
All right, now it's about to get a lot more fun. So now we have to do this for our puzzle parts, okay? This activity is going to involve you to create a puzzle cube. Let's pay attention, guys. We're creating a puzzle cube. So, you're going to make 5 different parts. Your own parts. And then you're going to have 5 students and 5 adults solve your puzzle.
So we're making them like.
You're making them, yes. But not today. We are blueprinting them through this activity. Measurements, all that. Let's have a seat, please. So, we are going to make a tree diagram right now with all the criteria constraints that they give us in the design brief in order to find the best combinations and best possible outcomes to help us build this puzzle cube. Right? Because if I just give you 27 cubes, I give you 27 little cubes like this, and I tell you, build me 5 puzzle pieces. Are you going to know how many to use? No.
Come on.
Hey, Mr. P.
How we doing? Here, it's going to I'm going to tell you exactly right now. So you need to write this down. Here are the directions for this. I'm going to tell you, I'm going to write it down, I'm going to read you the directions. Your directions are found in your design brief. Your design brief link is found in part 1 of your activity. Okay, it's that blue link that says Design Brief Puzzle Challenge. All your rules are in there.
Okay.
The first rule states, the puzzle must be fabricated from 27 3/4 hardwood cubes. So, you're going to have 27 of these cubes. Okay? So our total, so right now you're writing this down, total amount of cubes equals 27 cubes. That's the total amount. So when we make our tree diagram and we have to add up our numbers that are given, it better have 20, it better add up to 27. I'm sorry. Okay, yeah. Got it? Number 2 says, the puzzle system must contain exactly 5 parts. Okay? So if I have exactly 5 parts, so when I build, so this is one part. This is one puzzle piece put together, right? That's one part. How many levels in my tree diagram am I going to have? 5. 5 levels. We need to make 5 pieces, right? We need to figure out how many of these cubes need to go in those 5 pieces, right? Yes, sir.
So since we need to have 5 pieces, can you go over? Because like a Rubik's Cube would be like 6 pieces.
Right. So let me go on further with the directions. That's a good question. Here we go. A Rubik's Cube, though, connects together, right? At all parts of the puzzle. There's no taking it apart. You can take it apart, but I mean, that's not the purpose of a Rubik's Cube. The purpose of this puzzle is like Legos. If I have 5 different Lego parts and they give me instructions to build something, right? They're detachable and attachable. That's what this puzzle cube that we're making is going to involve, because you want to have those 5 separate parts all laid out, scrambled like a puzzle, and have somebody put them together into a shape of a cube. Yes. So
it has to be in shape of a cube?
yeah, it does. And the shape of the cube is going to be a 3 by 3 by 3, just like we said before. So the puzzle system must contain exactly 5 puzzle parts. So must have 5 parts. Okay? In parentheses, I would put tree diagram must show 5 levels. Okay? Each individual puzzle part must consist of 4 to 6 hardwood cubes. Okay? At least 2 puzzle parts must be made of 6 hardwood cubes. So right now, in those directions, so you should have your design brief out by now, read these directions, right? So you should have it pulled up.
You said 5 to 6 hardwood cubes.
Yeah, pull up your design brief challenge too, and it says it there. So tell me this right now. If I need at least 2 puzzle parts that have to be made up of 6 cubes, what number is my first 2 levels going to have?
6.
Again, if I have to have 2 puzzle parts made up of 6 cubes, right? I need 2 puzzle parts. So 1 piece, so this is 1 piece. That equals, that's 1 part. I'm sorry, this is 1 part. That equals 6 pieces. Here's another part. That equals 6 pieces. Remember our heads and tails example? So we need to make a tree diagram using these numbers now, right? So what do you think my first 2 levels are going to be?
Made up of 6.
They'll be made up of 6. Because level 1, right, and 6 being the highest number, right?
Yes.
Let's start that at the top. So level 1. Is going to be a 6. our level 2. Is going to be a 6. There is only one branch. Why? I need you to grasp this out of the directions I just read you.
Because you need to take apart the pieces and put them back together.
Trayvon, why do I need to start with 6? And there's only one branch coming off of 6 from level 1 to level 2. Because remember, when we flipped a quarter, there's 2 options, right? When we started with heads, we had 2 branches coming off. Because when we flip it starting from heads, we can either have heads or tails.
But that's a possibility.
Okay?
It's like, it's 2 sides on a penny.
Because it's only dealing with one part.
Here's what I want you to grasp. From the directions that you should be reading, the directions.
I don't got one.
It's in part 1. It's the blue link that says Puzzle Design Brief channel. Okay? Our directions clearly state that 2 puzzle pieces need to have 6 pieces. So no matter what, 2 parts of our puzzle better have 6 pieces. Okay? So our first piece, level 1, has 6 pieces. Our second part, level 2, has 6 pieces. So that's 2 levels done. Now, each individual puzzle part must consist of 4 to 6 hardwood cubes that are permanently attached to each other. Now, how many parts need to have 4 to 6 cubes?
4.
Time out. We said 2 pieces have to contain 6 parts, okay? We also said that we must have 5 parts to this puzzle, right? So if 2 parts have 6 in them, how many parts need to have 4 to 6?
3.
3.
Yeah.
Yes. Because 2 plus 3 is 5.
Right.
We need 5 puzzle parts, right? We said 2 puzzle parts have 6 pieces each. That's our level 1. That's our level 2. So level 3, better have 4 to 6 pieces. Anytime you see that word, 4 to 6, I want you to underline 2. That means a range. Has anybody heard the word range?
I have.
Raise your hand if you heard the word range. A range means that 4 being my minimum, 6 being my max, I cannot go past or below those 2 numbers, right? So it's either in between, or 4 being the minimum, or 6 being the max. Okay? Right now we're using whole numbers, so don't try to use decimals and throw extra information in your head. We're sticking with whole numbers. So common sense tells us after 4 comes 5, then 6, correct?
Yeah.
So, and 6. So that's 3 levels done, correct? Your job right now is to find level 4 and level 5. Once you do that, we said that the total amount of cubes right now is equal to 27 cubes, right? How do we find our outcomes using this tree diagram with these numbers given to us in the tree diagram?
So off of 4, when you go down to 3 branches since you still have.
No. We need to find outcomes, right? We need to find outcomes, a total.
Yes.
So, what these numbers are telling us is And these 5 levels, when I follow these lines like I did for the heads or tails example, it better add up to 27, right? Because we're using 27 cubes. The total amount of cubes that we have are 27. So when I find my level 4 and level 5, and say when I start at level 1, so that's 6, 12, so now I'm going to the left side, 4,
15.
16, right? When I go down to level 4, whatever my number is, I add it. When I go down to level 5, so say, I get a number here, I'm just writing X, and I get a number X there. If it does not add up to 27, so when I took my first outcome, and I added all these numbers, and it did not add up to 27, I stop at the number, or I stop at that side. Okay? That side did not work. That combination did not work. So 6, 4, X, X does not equal 27. How many of you seen this symbol right here?
I mean, not equal.
Right?
Not equal.
So that is not an outcome. Say if I added 6, 6, 4, X,
Why did think that variable different?
and X. Why is it 3 again? It's 3 again. Is that what you said? Why is it 3 branches again?
No, like, why do I start at 6 and go 6 again?
Okay, I started off with 6 and 6 again because those are my first 2 levels, and in my direction said I must have puzzle pieces. I must have puzzle pieces that have 6 parts. I'm sorry. I must have a part that has 6 pieces. Okay? Are we still not clear about that section? Yeah.
So when I asked, is the 4 gonna have 3 branches stuff up? That means every number will have 3 branches stuff up, right?
Correct. So what he's basically saying is that 4